What's next for the Browns? We bring on Jason Lloyd, no better source, and he's on the Make It Right, Call Kyle Wright hotline. Hello, Jason.
Hi, boys. Good morning. I have my daughter in my car, so be nice.
What does that got to do? Okay, so I can't call you the Culligan man now?
Say hi.
Hi.
Oh,
That's my daughter. She's my bodyguard.
What are you doing?
I'd like to get her thoughts on the state of affairs.
Yeah,
the
what did
coaching
she think?
search.
Yeah, what did she think about Kevin Stefanski getting fired?
What do you think about Kevin Stefanski getting fired? I don't even know if she knows who Kevin Stefanski is.
She doesn't know Uncle Kev?
She doesn't care about sports. Oh, would you shut up? She doesn't care about sports.
I
It's
got
not volleyball. She likes volleyball. Volleyball and swimming. That's it. So.
Is it a libero?
A what?
Libero? Laredo?
A libero?
Libero! That's
Libero?
what... Is it a liberan?
Outside hitter? She's an outside hitter.
There you go. Well, congratulations, young lady.
Congratulations on all your success.
So, Kevin's gone. I had an argument, but this is the problem yesterday. I got into an argument with people who go, wait a minute. I shouldn't be doing this. I'm not mad. I don't think that Kevin's a scapegoat. 8-26 is 8-26. My issue isn't that Andrew got to keep his job, and that's not fair. No, it's just I just have this bad feeling we're going to be doing all this all over again, and we could be doing wholesale changes, one and done, Rob Chadzitsky land again.
Well, yeah, I wrote about that this morning. I think that if you're doing this with the general manager a year from now you're back into the misalignment. Well, he just hired the head coach, and now the new general manager is going to come in and want his head coach, and round we go. So yeah, there's a ton of pressure on Andrew to get this right and nail this draft. And listen, you can't run from Deshaun. He was the general manager of the worst trade in the history of professional sports, and you kept him, and you got rid of the guy who couldn't put out the fire. It's just hard for me to wrap my head around that. And we're on the same page in how Deshaun went down. You and I see it the same way in Lima too. About Jimmy was the only one at the end who wanted to guarantee the whole contract, but somebody had to come up with the idea. And so when you talk about accountability with the organization, well, you made the worst trade in the history of sports and you kept your job out of it, and the other guy got fired. So that's just hard for me to wrap my head around.
It does make me wonder, all right, he's kept his job through all this, and I know the press conference yesterday, they tried to get him to come up with reasons, and there wasn't very many reasons to hold on to Andrew, and I'm like, well, wait a minute, did Andrew say maybe he would talk to Baker about staying around or something like that, and it had gone too far, or, whatever it was, that Andrew might still be here, because this is just so much. It's like, okay, yeah, he had a great draft last draft. I want to give him credit for April, but there's still so much you have to do in such a short amount of time to get this thing going in the right direction. I just don't think you're going to be given enough time.
I don't understand. I don't understand Jimmy, and I know there's an old statement, but in March at the owners' meetings, he says, big swing and a miss. It's going to take time to dig out of that. And then 10 months later, you're saying you should have won more than 5 games. So which is it? Is it going to take a lot of time to dig out of this? Yes, that's true. It's going to take a lot of time to dig out of this. Or are these guys on the clock to win now? Those two things don't align to me. And that's where I guess the confusion is. No, you're right. 8 games isn't enough to win or to keep your job. Like I've said for a year, you want to fire the guy, fire the guy. I'm not going to defend it. Or I'm not, you can't defend the record. But at the same time, I think you can look at the extenuating circumstances of the Deshaun trade and figure out pretty quickly why it went south as quickly as it did and as badly as it did. So is it a big hole you got to dig out of, or are they on the clock to win right now? Because those are complete polar opposites, and he said both within the last 10 months.
Jason, I've seen other people allude to this, but are they just looking to hire another Kevin Stefanski in this situation?
Well, we'll see who they hire. If they hire Clint Kubiak, that feels like another Kevin Stefanski. That feels like another Kevin Stefanski. I have no idea who they're looking at, who they're going to hire. I'm curious to see how this goes. This is probably Andrew's one shot at this, right? I don't know, he's going to get another chance to hire head coach, certainly not here. So there's going to be a lot of pressure on that. You would think he's going to want a young, analytical mind, right? That's just the trend in all of this. If I had to guess, they prefer offense to defense. That's strictly a guess, though, and most of the top candidates seem to be on the defensive side in this cycle. So I'm kind of fascinated to see how this goes and who they land on. But yeah, I would tend to think at this early stage, Andrew's going to want someone who sees it like he sees it, and that's going to be another young offensive analytical mind.
Well, Jason Lloyd joined us right now. One thing I am nervous about, it's kind of a combination thing, which is he going to be a little reluctant to hire a strong personality, because that could certainly make him perceived as weaker in the building, and we know how that kind of concludes in a lot of front offices, a lot of setups around the league. And is he going to have an open mind on the candidates that he interviews and their perspective about the current quarterback room?
Well, the second one is really fascinating to me. The first part of that, I mean, he better, yeah, I think he will be. I think he'll be open to a strong personality. You kind of need a strong personality in that locker room, because it's not a team full of great veteran leadership. Like, let's be honest. It's part of the reason Kevin's not here anymore, is he's not a guy who's going to get in people's faces. And I think that's probably what this team needs. And plus, I mean, I don't know that Andrew needs, I mean, I'm not going to call this a power struggle. I don't think it was a power struggle, but one guy left and one guy stayed, and he's the guy who stayed. So he should feel pretty comfortable about where he's at right now, if that makes sense. But the quarterback thing, yeah, I mean, I've said all along, I think Shedeur's presence will be a hindrance to some guy. Not somebody's going to take the job. They pay really well, and there's only 32 of the job. Somebody will take it. But there are candidates out there who will look at this and say, nope, I want nothing to do with that. How could you? Look at everything that Kevin went through over the last year with Shedeur and some of the stupidity and nonsense that was out there. What coach would want to sign up for that? Particularly when he didn't play that well. He wasn't that good. Like, I've been pretty adamant. He shouldn't be on this team. Like, to me, Shedeur should not be on this team next year. He's not good enough to be the starter, and this organization is not stable and mature enough to have him as a backup. They've proven that. So what, are you going to draft another quarterback and put him atop Shedeur, and then all the stuff comes back again about, well, what about Shedeur? When are you going to play Shedeur? Like, no thanks, hard pass. And I just think a lot of coaches are going to view it that way.
I disagree, but because I wanted to ask you another question about Kevin, but now I got to go off on Shedeur here for a second here. I think that's a little extreme. He shouldn't be on the team next year. You're not going to draft a quarterback in the first round next year. You're not in a position to.
I didn't say he shouldn't be in the NFL. He shouldn't be on this team.
I understand that.
Not mature. Look at everything they just went through. And for what? He's not that good.
What did they really go through?
Do we need to remind ourselves of all the locker room stuff, all the crap about the miming and the...
That's well. Wait a minute.
What organization wants to put up with that?
You're breaking up for a second here. I think that was more media stuff. I don't think that there was actual problems in the locker room. I had a problem that Dylan Gabriel was there for obvious reasons, but I mean, look at it. I don't think that he was a problem in the building. I don't think that he was such a distraction in the building to everybody involved. I don't think they let it be that way.
All of that stuff infects into the walls. I'm not saying... the unfortunate part is I think he's a really good kid.
Sounds like it.
I think he's a really good young man. But it's just all the nonsense that comes with him. That's exactly why he fell, Ken. You know that. This is why, because teams didn't want to deal with this. And we just saw it play out over the course of the last year.
Well, hey, listen.
And now you're going to sign up for more?
If he's not good enough to have media asking him questions after games that he didn't even play in, fine. But again, he can't help it that media is going to come up to him and ask him questions. I don't think he's pounding away at people going, hey, you want me to answer a question after a football game? I don't think he's doing that. So I'm not going to blame him for us being obsessed with him.
It doesn't matter whose fault it is. It doesn't matter that it's not his fault. It's still the reality of the situation.
Okay. Do you think that Kevin wanted to stay here?
I have no idea. I could totally see a scenario where he's like, yeah, I'm good. Send me on my way. Because, again, last year was bad. This year was worse. And there's only so much you can take. So I can't sit here and say definitively he wanted out. I have no idea. But it wouldn't shock me at all if he sort of had enough.
I want to get back to Shedeur just because we've got a lot of Shedeur fans listening in, and they're going to want specifics. Anytime you bring up, the reason he fell in the draft, the problem that you think maybe he hasn't created, but what the people around him have created? What are those specifics? Because we've said on the show, like, I don't think it's been anywhere near the circus that I think we were led to believe that it could be. Yeah, there were some different moments, but a lot of young quarterbacks now coming up have people following them. They've had NIL deals in college. They have their fan bases. Like, I didn't think it was that crazy this year. Did you think otherwise?
I thought it was pretty nuts until he took over, and then once he took over, it became pretty obvious why he wasn't playing before that. Like, this is nothing new. I'm saying the same thing I've said before. He really struggled with coverages. He really struggled with protections. He really struggled to know when he was hot. Like, this isn't new. They scored one touchdown in the last, 2 games? They scored one offensive touchdown. The turnovers were absurd. Like, he didn't play well. And the metrics prove out that, like, not only was he bad, he was one of the worst quarterbacks in the NFL over the last 25 years, statistically. Like, I just feel like I'm living in an alternate universe where people are like, oh, he didn't play that bad. He's pretty good. I'm like, are we watching the same game? He's terrible. Can he get better? Sure. Yeah, he can get better. Of course he can get better. I just don't have a lot of faith that this is the team. They haven't developed a quarterback in 25 years. You mean to tell me they're going to get this one right with this guy and with all of the noise and everything that comes around them? This is the one they're going to get right? I just have a really hard time believing that.
Well, if that's the case, Jason, obviously this quarterback room then seems pretty doomed unless you feel good about Bailey Zappi, who actually has better numbers than Shedeur does in his early career. So what would you say would be a plan of attack that if a coaching candidate came in at QB, because they're going to be pressed on this by Andrew Berry and maybe JW or who else, eventually
absolutely
they're going to have to co-sign on that. What would be a plan of attack that could get a coach hired?
Well, I mean, it has to be a coach. If they're committed to having Shedeur in the building, which it sounds like they are, it's got to be a coach that's comfortable with that. Who either thinks they can work with that. And
you picked that up yesterday. I'm sorry, Jason. I don't mean to cut you off, but I didn't pick that up at all yesterday. That they're committed to keeping him in the building. I mean, I disagree if they were to just cut. I don't. I don't think they should just cut him because I don't think that they have very many other good options. So I'm willing to let him take a whirl at it, to be honest with you, because I'm kind of old Mother Hubbard at the position right now. So I don't want. Do I want to move up for Dante Moore if he decides to come out? No. Do I want to force the issue with some other guy in the first round who will probably move up because we have a dearth of quarterbacks? Hell no, I don't want to do that. If I'm going to do it, I want to get it right. So I guess I'll let him have a whack at it again next year.
But the coach has to. These are the conversations that you're going to have with prospective coaches. How do you feel about Shedeur? And the opinions on that are going to vary. And if Andrew Berry is committed to having him in the building, he's going to have to find a coach who's comfortable with Shedeur being in the building. If they're open to the idea of him not being here, then that's a different conversation. And I don't know which way they're leaning on that, quite frankly. But no, how could you look at this quarterback room now and feel good about it? I mean, Deshaun was horrible before he tore his Achilles. Shedeur didn't play all that great this year. And you guys don't get, like, the quarterback room is there a worse one in the NFL right now, honestly?
No.
So what are we talking about here? What are we doing? Like, Jimmy's talking about
so
we're going to win.
That might be Dylan Gabriel.
Quarterback.
That's that's the whole thing about it. That's why I can't believe that you don't get rid of both when you get rid of one, because if you win 6 games next year, we're going to do the whole thing over again.
I just said that.
Well, I said that to you at the beginning of the interview. At the beginning of the interview.
I just said that I would not have him back in the building, and now it's like you're agreeing with me and you were arguing with me earlier.
Because I just don't see the point of listen, I'm a fan, I'm a general manager for the rest of my life, right? So I just want to see somebody who I might have some interest in, and it ain't Deshaun Watson and it ain't Dylan Gabriel. I have more interest in Shedeur Sanders. If you want to bring in Malik Willis or you want to bring in Mac Jones, let's have a conversation. Okay? But some of the other ones, it's like, I don't want to even bother with that because I know I'm just setting myself up for failure, and then I'm kicking the can down the road. Like, I look at a J.J. McCarthy situation. You know how much I'd hate for that situation with the Cleveland Browns right now? Because it's too early for them to give up on him. But every time he sucks, he gets hurt, and every time he gets hurt, he sucks. So I don't want a piece of a J.J. McCarthy type scenario going into this year.
Oh, and let me be like, if you're telling me my options right now for starting quarterback for the Browns next year are Shedeur or Deshaun, and I have to pick one, it's Shedeur every time. Every time. Deshaun should not be here either. He should have been cut. Like,
Well, now you got $46 million you have to answer to, or however many. The number grows every time.
It doesn't matter. When you identify a mistake, you get off of the mistake as fast as possible. And they haven't done that. They just keep stringing this out and kicking the can down the road. And I just don't understand how they've handled any of this. It just doesn't make any sense to me. But if you don't believe Shedeur is the long-term answer, and again, this goes back to what Jimmy was saying yesterday. We're going to win. We want to win. Da, da, da. Okay, well, who's the quarterback? And then you're just going to keep winning just enough games that you are now not in position to get a quarterback in the draft. Like, had they lost those last 2 games, they'd have the number 1 pick, and this conversation would be over. But they won those last 2 games, and now they're at 6, and now we're having the conversation of, well, what do you do, and where do you go, and now are you looking at the 27 draft? And it just goes, and it makes my head hurt. And it just goes on and on and on, because until they figure out that position, nothing else we're talking about matters.
Notice the gloves came off the minute his daughter left the door and slammed.
Yeah, no kidding.
Slammed the car door.
I noticed that too. Your daughter left to go to school,
Jason
and all
Lloyd.
of a sudden it's tough talking Jason Lloyd.
One final note.
It was smooth daddy-o before.
Would you support Jim Schwartz? And if not, is there an outside-the-box hire that, if the Haslams went back to their old ways, you might be interested in?
I would support Schwartz. I would like it to see somebody who's already had the job once. I'm kind of tired of the rookie head coach who...
The Browns job once? You want to bring back Eric Mangini? Interesting.
Would you stop? I just think guys who have had one go of it and who had an opportunity to learn from their mistakes, that makes a lot of sense to me. And I know retread is like a bad word, but I don't know. I've kind of liked the opportunity of, wow, I did that once. It didn't really go that well. I learned that from it. Now let's have a chance to change it again. I heard you guys earlier talking about Cignetti. I got to tell you, Cignetti feels like John Beilein to me. It just feels like John Beilein. And
What?
Why is that such a what?
On what planet?
Hey, last time I Googled John Beilein, there was some terminology I wasn't really comfortable with. That's not the case with Kurt Cignetti.
They are the same age, roughly. They are lifetime college coaches who have had quite a bit of success. Beilein is a pretty good coach at Michigan. I don't know if you remember that or not. He's really good at Michigan. West Virginia and then Michigan. Had to scratch the itch of trying to do it in the pros, and it did not go so well. So, I don't know. Cignetti feels like another Beilein to me.
I don't see that at all. I just don't
How
see
do you not? He's a lifetime college coach.
So? I just started laughing. They're older guys that happen to be lifetime college coaches. I mean, John Beilein, you'd think that he would be as much of a disaster as John Beilein was?
Well, we didn't think John Beilein was going to be a disaster when he was hired.
Yes, you did. Yes, you absolutely did. Don't lie to yourself.
Paul Brown was
Paul
Brown was a lifetime high school and college coach.
Yeah, there you go.
He came to the NFL.
Yeah, you guys showed Mike Pett in the door.
Boom.
Could have been our version of Paul Brown here. Still out there.
Are we done here?
Yeah, here? Oh, we were done 20 minutes ago.
Yeah, when that door shut.
Yeah.
Love you. Yeah, love you. Going through the motions. My God.
I love you, dear. That turns around. You bastards! Let me tell you something about Shedeur Sanders. Boy,
I think that
almighty.
was more just the timing of the conversation than who was in the car.
Oh, is that it? So you would have said that while she was in the car, all that nasty stuff you just yelled at us.
What did I say? What did I yell that was so nasty?
Oh, you go back and listen to this interview. Phones are ringing off the hook. They're out for blood now with you. Mm-hmm. I'm telling you right now, buddy.
I don't care.
Yes, you. No, you don't.
No,
he does.
I don't care.
All right. Thank you.
All right. Bye, boys.
Bye. Jason Lloyd on the Make It Right. Call Kyle Wright hotline. Strong stuff. We got.